Mobility is the foundation of health. I'm Javi Caio, neuroscience researcher, yoga teacher, and health enthusiast. And I gotta say, mobility is definitely the foundation of health. Before strength, before fitness, before performance, we need mobility. What does mobility mean? Mobility means that your body is able to move in a variety of different ways without compensation. That your body is able to have your joints going at its full range of movement and at the end range still have control. Having mobility means that your brain is able to map out entirely all of the different sort of small movements that your body is able to do. What happens is we forget how important it is to have a body that is full mobile. Simple things on your day by day. How many times do you see somebody praising their overall ability to go to the floor and pick up things? Never. You never see somebody saying, oh, today I went to park my car and I didn't have to turn my entire torso. I was just able to turn my neck. Like, we don't see that a lot because it's not flashy, it's not performatic, but it is the basis of our health, because even muscle can be built on top of a rigid structure. And at the end of life is what we see. People in their 80s, more muscle tone did not prevent them from having the same trouble that all other agers had in terms of their overall mobility and their overall use of the body at their age, but having mobile ankles did. So what we have to understand is that mobility for all of us is this foundation space for all and every single sort of health-related technique to work better. If we don't have mobility in our bodies, if we're not able to learn from our environment, if the body itself, the biomechanical structure, it's not able to actually be demanded, be perturbed by stress and grow, then there is a problem in that. And then in here, quite important, very technical aspect of this entire thing that are our joints. So when we think about mobility, we need to understand that mobility is based on the joint itself. That is the structure that allows movement to happen. Our joints, basically, they have three different types of joints, articulations. When it comes to the body, the most recurrent one is the one that we have on our knees, our shoulders, and our hips. Those are the ones that control basically the entire movement of the body. What happens is the joint themselves, they are centers of movement, centers of sensory information, centers of load and load distribution in the body. So when joints work well, movement flows, forces are being distributed, and healthy tissues are able to maintain themselves. When we prevent that from happening, then load concentrates, and this is what creates an accelerated aging. This is why I wanted to have this quite clear in here, because there is a clear line of thought. So we go from joints being centers of movement, we deprive them from overall movement. What happens is load concentrates on some specific areas of the body. We have compensation beginning, and we have this uneven aging process through the whole body. This is why it's so important for you to understand these topics, because we think that, oh, I am rigid just because. No, you are rigid because there's a clear compensatory pattern going on in your body that is accelerated aging in a very specific part of you. Healthy joints distribute stress across the entire body, and this stress dissipates. Unhealthy joints hold the stress. So like we talked in last week's video, it's the impact. It's the either sound wave of impact or it's the shock wave of impact. A healthy joint, sound wave, distributes stress through the body. Unhealthy, it will hold on to that because it doesn't have the mobility in order to keep distributing the stress further up the chain. And then another topic that we need to be very clear on is how joints themselves are able to not only impact mechanoreceptors, but proprioceptors and receptors of pressure and position. And all of that image back to the brain. Brain creates this entire map of your body. And then the results are quite clear, because when the brain has a better map, think about it, your balance will be better, coordination will be better, your overall energy use to walk is less, because you don't need to deal with that excessive amount of rigidity. This is why it's so important. So the brain constantly updates itself through movement. This is why so many people are not able to fully understand this strength and fitness approaches. Why so many people are not able to benefit from fitness, strength, or cardio for an entire lifetime. Not because that is wrong, but because they're depriving themselves from a variety of other things that they needed in order to keep performing in the area that they wanted. Because it's the same thing as sitting on a chair every day. So if you're a tennis player and you play tennis for 15, 20, 30 years, you're engaging with a repetitive pattern of movement that will trigger pain, that will trigger compensation. But if you have an overall variety of stimulus in that body, then you can create a joint that actually can perform better in all of its ranges of movement. But if you just focus on one specifically, then you create compensation and pain. Without mobility, strength has no way to go unless to reinforce the patterns that are already holding the system. So mobility is not just about moving better, but it's about preserving the body's natural ability to adapt, to grow, to create resilience in face of stress, perturbation, changes, falling, tensing your ankle, spraining your ankle. Mobility is the basis of our entire health. I'm Javi Caio. Thank you so much for being with me today. See you in our next video.